Welcome to this edition of Momentum. I'm your host, James Warnock. My first guest today is Dr. Cindy Bethel, who's an associate professor in computer science and engineering and the director of the STARS Lab. So Cindy, thank you for joining us today.
I'm glad to be here.
And STARS obviously is an acronym. You're not doing astrological research. So what does STARS actually stand for?
It's the Social Therapeutic and Robotic Systems Lab.
Okay, social, therapeutic, and robotic. So in simple terms for people like me, what exactly do you guys over there do?
We do research related to how humans are going to interact with robots, basically. And so we're looking at it from different application areas, including gathering information from children, using robots for therapeutic purposes for people who've gone through post-traumatic stress disorders. We also integrate robots in with tactical teams and our SWAT teams.
Wow, that's quite a varied application there. And you've brought one of your friends with you today. This is Now?
This is the Now robot, yes.
Okay, and what's Now used for? How's he used in therapeutic
We've been using
situations?
Now to gather information from children. And so he is acting as an intermediary in a room with the children, and we use him to interview them to gather information from them. We've been doing it based on eyewitness memory and also on their experiences with bullying.
Okay, and the children presumably respond very well to the robot?
Yeah, they see him as a friend. Some of the children have commented that they feel they can tell him things they can't tell other people. They feel that the robot is non-judgmental, so that they can tell them things and not worry about having a human judgment on them. So they feel very comfortable sharing information and talking with the robot.
Okay, and he's standing here, he's moving around, he's moving his head and his arms slightly. Does he speak to the children as well, or is it a one-way dialogue, or how does the robot interact with the child?
He actually speaks with them.
Okay.
And so we have him speak to them, and then they respond, and then we have somebody behind the scenes that's actually producing kind of the interactions that come from him to the children. So it's a very personalized engagement.
Okay, so it's not like when I'm talking to Siri on my phone and it's almost like canned responses to my questions. There's actually an operator that interacts in a much more personal way.
Right. So we have some things that are autonomous, like its movements are autonomous. Some of the things it says it does, it's pre-programmed and will do, sort of like Siri. But we actually have someone who can type in responses so it can be more personalized and that we can provide more interactions and a better engagement.
Okay. And the voice, is the voice a human voice, or,
No,
or does it sound like a robot from a sci-fi movie, or?
Somewhere in between.
Okay.
It sounds childlike, but it does have a little bit of an electronic quality to it. And I'm sorry I didn't have it programmed to speak today, but it has sort of a small, probably 4 to 5 year old child voice on it. And it's kind of non-gender specific.
Okay. And I mean, this is fascinating. I'm just kind of mesmerized by him moving around next to me. How do you get the movements? Is it reactive to light or to movement, or? The
mode that he's in right now is called aliveness. And so he's got sensors in his ears so he can orient towards sound. He has light sensors in his camera, which is actually what looks like his mouth and not his eyes. And so he will fixate on different people based on that, and then when he locks onto a person, his eyes will actually change color to say, I'm tracking you, and so he tracks their faces.
Okay, so that explains why he turns towards me when I'm speaking, then he turns back to you when you're speaking.
Right, because his sound localization is orienting him towards where the sound's coming from.
Wow, that's fascinating. And where are we in terms of I don't know if this has to go through sort of approval processes, or are these therabots being used in court cases now, or are they being commercialized, or where are we with the technology?
Okay, we were funded by the National Science Foundation to do this research, and we're still in kind of the early development phases. We're doing a lot of studies. We've conducted 3 years worth of user studies with children ages 8 to 12. So we're still in that process of gathering information. We hope eventually to be able to bring this into a court setting or into a more legal setting so that it could be used in gathering information for legal cases with children. who've gone through maltreatment or any kind of abuse.
Yeah. Well, this is absolutely fascinating. It's been a real pleasure having you on the show today. Good luck with all the future research and everything else that you do. And I'm looking forward to hearing more advancements with this.
Okay.
We're going to take a quick break now, and we'll be back in a few minutes with our next guest.
Everyone remembers their favorite teddy bear, the reassuring love of their first puppy. They comforted us and made us laugh. For children battling abusive situations or post-traumatic stress disorder, the memories aren't as pleasant. That's why at Mississippi State University, we're pioneering a robotic technology that brings healing to those exposed to traumatic situations. Known as TheraBot, MSU's robotic beagle includes lifelike features that allow it to move in ways that are both natural and nurturing. Its ultimate goal? To bridge the gap between two types of effective therapy, using real animals and their plush counterparts for emotional assistance. At MSU, we're proud to be changing the game in therapeutic recovery, even prouder to be putting lives back together again.